Hello, glorious people. I am Morgan. Janine is with me,
Hello.
as is, of course, Baron Helmut Zemo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing better. I have done better in past life, but I'm doing as best I can. How are you?
Are you enjoying the raft?
You know what? You get pretty good Wi-Fi. The gym here is not so bad, and they take their COVID regulations very seriously.
That's really good
Would
to
you
know.
say it's a better prison than the random German one you used to be in?
Absolutely, absolutely. That boy from the Sherlock TV show, he would always try and annoy me. Thankfully, he's not there anymore.
It's good
Are
to
you
know.
making friends? Are you making friends at the raft?
Yes, and I'll tell you reason I am making friends. Because not only am I the Baron Zemo, a prince from my country, I am the Baron, as the internet has now named me, the Baron of the Dance.
Brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant. I think we'll get taken down if I don't talk over this music, so
Yes.
I'm going to keep talking over it. Turn the music off. Turn the music off now. I had to sort that out. This is going to be a good. It's going to be a good fun stream this today.
I think it is. Yes.
I think it absolutely is. We are, of course, talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, whatever it's actually called.
Well, now, yes, it is Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
We're going to give some of our thoughts on what's going on. Hello, Kimber in the chat.
Hey, Kimber.
How are you? Did you enjoy the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And yeah, we're going to be talking about it, going through all the things to do with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and what it's going to mean for the future for Captain America 4, which has been announced, I think, properly, officially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not just like rumors.
No, it's officially in production.
There you go. But also the wider MCU looking at how all the stuff that happens in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how that's going to have reactions on everybody else, because you know it will.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to get straight into it. I think we're going to take it character by character. And I think reasonably, there's probably only one place to start. I'm going to start with Janine.
Ooh.
Let's talk Sam Wilson.
I thought you were going to say Janine is now a character in the show.
I wish
I was. I wish I was Sarah, so Bucky would be flirting with me. But yeah, Sam was always. I loved his intro. I watched The Winter Soldier again recently before the finale, and just kind of wanted to see, the introduction of that character again. And I think that's the most we really get of him is in the MCU is in the Winter Soldier. And he is a great character. Like, he's just a solid support counselor. So he can kind of be a good talking partner with Steve and understand kind of what he's going through. So yeah, Sam was always kind of a solid character, but like I always kind of wanted a little bit more, so that he wouldn't feel so much like just kind of a sidekick, because I always felt like he kind of deserved a bit more of a spotlight. So getting more of him in this show has been really great. Just seeing how he thinks about things, how he has those doubts like everyone has, whether they're worthy to do things or not. I know I've been in situations where I wasn't sure I would be accepted, because of the color of my skin. So those are definitely things that he kind of goes through that I relate with really well. So I'm glad that they delved into those things with that character, and just kind of this strong need to just do what's right despite what it could mean. So I like that they set him up like that.
Well, I think it's fair to say now that Sam has transitioned into one of the most important characters in the whole MCU, coming out of this show rather than, going into it. He may have simply been the Falcon, but coming out of it, he is fully Captain America. Enough, the less said about John Walker, the better, but we'll be talking a little bit about John Walker, sure. We'll have to give him his due, won't we? Kimber says Bucky is the sidekick now. I mean, it's kind of right. I think,
Yeah.
and I think
he kind of always was, wasn't he?
I think Bucky's perfectly happy being a happy sidekick at this point. He doesn't want any focus on him. Bucky's that
I also
kind of
don't
character.
see this story going in the way where sometimes it does in the comics, where Bucky becomes Cap. I don't see that resonating as much as Sam Wilson becoming Cap.
No, they took this whole series to really set up why Sam was the perfect choice.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense for him to be it. And I don't think that, like you said, taking that route with Bucky, I think they set up enough that he doesn't really want it. So
Bucky does just want to be happy. And I'm happy that Bucky comes out of Falcon and the Winter Soldier being happy. Because you see how just the feeling, the sense of community that's in that final episode with Bucky just really getting involved, really having a smile on his face.
Being invited to the cookout.
Yeah, the final party with everybody.
He's that one picture of Chris Stuckman and his friends.
He's just... There's such a significant transition for both of these characters in very, very different ways. You almost feel like Bucky's character arc has been to have less focus on him and take everything a bit more easier.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's character arc has been going from, a good help sidekick to front and center. I'm taking the lead. I'm taking charge because we got to be better. And I acknowledge that I've got to be better too, but I'm going to give it a damn good go.
Yeah.
Has anybody here read the Sam Wilson Cap comics?
Unfortunately not.
I would highly recommend them because they were the reason that I got excited about this show. And I mean, they don't really do everything that comic does. I mean, in the beginning of that series, Sam's already Captain America. I know it's a lot of the same plot, except there's this additional thing of it's going hashtag not my Captain America. And Steve's obviously there and sort of dealing with that as well. And I kind of prefer the way that they did it in this, whereas it really gets into the psychology of why Sam Wilson would feel a lot of pressure about taking that shield. And he wants to honor his friend, but he also wants to honor his family and everything, and also embrace being the best Avenger that he can. And it just comes in to a close right at the end. That speech he gives is legitimately... I forgot Marvel knew how to do this kind of stuff, because I've been waiting for them to be pulling off something very sincere and very heartfelt without undercutting the moment with a silly joke. And I feel this show does that perfectly. This felt as good as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man days in terms of that sincerity.
Yeah, and it wasn't super preachy, but it was real. It was real talk. It was things that we're all thinking that nobody ever says, and you wouldn't think that they would go there and say those things in an MCU kind of related thing and kind of deal with those issues. So the fact that he said those things, on a grand stage like that was super powerful. That whole speech had me in tears. So
do we think Anthony Mackie could get some Emmy attention? Because I think he deserves it.
I mean,
I would hope, but
possibly. Quite possibly.
After last night, I mean, I don't know. A reward show.
We don't know what awards. We don't know what awards are going to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think he should at least be nominated. Because I feel his performance, that speech, that's something you read before an Emmy is announced.
I think that's virtually a given, just because of how kind of big the show will continue to be anyway. Yeah. I just think that is kind of a given, and it should be. It really should be. What I've found most interesting about to be honest, kind of both WandaVision and particularly this, though, is the MCU now feels comfortable dealing with harder topics because it's on television finally. It must feel like television gives them the time they need to really delve deep enough and layered enough into such, into harder discussions that those discussions deserve. It gives them that time. But it also, while it might be the biggest TV show out there, it's not the biggest movie all across the world at the same time everywhere. They don't have to be as mainstream
for everybody
with television. Nobody ever has to be as mainstream with television as big studios have to be with movies to make considerable enough money, that they want to make.
And I don't think you have to worry about getting a big name or a familiar name to helm these stories. You can get somebody who just knows how to tell a story like this. So I think it's really great that this same guy is going to get to work on Captain America 4.
Yeah, so, it's a much different. It's going to be the best thing. It's the best thing that could have possibly happened to the MCU post Endgame to start off the new phase of it all, the complete, total new era of it all.
It shot up to my hype list, like knocking Doctor Strange 2 out of the top spot. Like
Captain
that's how
America
excited
4,
I am
for.
For.
It's just there's Tom says the MCU definitely informed the character much better. # my new Cap. He is. Everybody's new Cap.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be. He's got the right attitude to be Captain America, which is not what we saw from Mr. Walker. Is it?
I mean,
the worst attitude.
I was talking to a coworker about the show, and he just kept trying to find ways to kind of defend John Walker. So
I will not be defending John Walker in any.
He was like, way. It was just because they didn't want to work with him, and he was just trying to work with them, and they didn't want to.
No, he wasn't.
And that's what drove him to do it. Like, I'm like, no. He would have done way worse things or, made stupider decisions sooner without Lamar there to, like, be his conscience. And if you need a whole ass other person to be your conscience, then you're not a good person.
It's right. It's right. We'll get on to a discussion about John. We will get on to a discussion about John Walker. But I just love that they feel comfortable now dealing with harder discussions and more worthwhile discussions that make the shows and hopefully the movies going forward as well. Hopefully there's a transition actually into the movies, because realistically it kind of should have been doing it with the movies a little bit more anyway.
Yeah, because I mean,
it just never quite did. In some movies it did, but in some it really, when it should have done, it didn't.
Yeah, because there were some major issues brought up. And I think for the first couple of episodes, a lot of people didn't want to admit that the show was dealing with race or that it was about race in any way. And that they thought people were just kind of trying to make it about race. But it's such a huge thing that, like, would the world accept, would America accept a Black Captain America? So I really like that they really delved into that thought process and Sam's struggle with that. For sure. So
yeah, and in that final episode, we deal with that on an admittedly small scale. We deal with the idea of Sam presenting himself as Captain America, realizing what it's going to mean. Sam being Sam, looking the way Sam does, as presenting himself as Captain America. His scenes with Isaiah Bradley are unbelievably intense.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope we get some Eli Bradley as Patriot in the Captain America 4.
Yeah, I think they're definitely setting up Young Avengers with all these shows.
going into Captain America 4 with Sam, I assume that's the next time we're going to see Sam Wilson in the MCU. I assume it is. I don't know, obviously, because he could show up in any damn thing at this
Add him
point.
to Spider-Man No Way Home. They're already adding every Marvel character into it.
Right.
Well, they are. That's very true, quite possibly. I can't see that movie being anything other than more of Sam proving himself to the wider world as Cap. I think that's the natural progression of the story. I think it might be predictable somewhat, but why is that a bad thing if it's executed right? I think that's the good thing about this show, is that it was incredibly predictable. You knew from the first damn scene that the show was going to end
in this direction. Yeah.
with Sam with the shield going, "I'm Captain America," and
Yeah.
yes, it does do that. We're not bothered that it does that. We're not saying
Because
oh,
it
you
just
should have
owns
tried
it
some...
and it knows what it is and it goes
Yeah.
straight for it.
Exactly. Kimber is apparently in Spider-Man No Way Home because everybody else is. So am I. So am I, actually.
No word of a lie. I could see Kimber pulling off the Olivia Octavius kind of cosplay. So maybe we can get live action Olivia Octavius.
I
I've
could
already
see
got
her
Alfred
being
Molina
that.
back.
I could see her being that Lucy Lawless lady.
that one Lucy Lawless cameo.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the
On
nose
that though,
tattoos.
did you guys see there was a Marvel like panel with you know the whole thing of like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan take the piss out of Tom Holland?
Yes.
And there's this one clip, it has been going around, and it was like Tom Holland was taking the piss out of Anthony Mackie for not seeing Spider-Man Homecoming, and he says, "Oh, I haven't seen the Falcon movie. Oh wait, there's not one." And then Anthony Mackie comes out and is like, "Yeah, there's not a Falcon movie. I'm gonna be in a fucking Captain America movie. Take that, you stupid kid." That is such a flex. I would love to see that kind of scene on the movie as well.
Yeah.
I think Anthony Mackie can do it. I'm very happy for Anthony Mackie because he's very, very good. He always seems like he's kind of a fun person, like a person that definitely tells a lot of kind of dark jokes to everybody.
Yeah, no, and his relationship with Sebastian Stan, I think that their friendship is kind of plays off screen as well. So I think that just kind of really plays into their chemistry on the show. So I really want to see more of them like together as a team.
Yeah, it's like Lethal Weapon. It's Briggs and Murtaugh, but like better.
Yeah.
Do we see that continuing in Captain America 4 then?
Oh, definitely.
So yeah.
Any other wants that we may want from Captain America 4?
I have one, but I'll mention it when we get to talking about John Walker.
Okay. Anything else to do with Sam, Janine?
Yeah, just he's awesome, and I'm excited we got to know him better, and really that they built him up to be the perfect and only choice for Captain America.
They did. They absolutely did. New Cap hashtag. New Sam Cap.
I will bring up some fun trivia thing I know about Anthony Mackie and Marvel. So I read somewhere on like IGN, apparently Anthony Mackie auditioned for the role of Trevor Slattery in Iron Man 3.
God.
And thankfully did not get that, and he got this role instead.
Okay.
But can you imagine Anthony Mackie as the fake Mandarin?
No.
I would assume that therefore means that Ben Kingsley would have been Falcon, at which point it gets really weird.
I mean, they're doing multiverse. Maybe we'll see that.
You'll never see me coming. Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let's get on to Mr. Barnes.
Yes.
Bucky Barnes. Well, I've already talked a little bit about Bucky. I was very, very happy for Bucky after this series.
And after kind of getting snapped out of everything, we didn't get, like he was another character we just didn't get a lot from. You know, we saw what kind of person he was in the first Avenger, only to kind of have him taken away, and then he comes back and he's just kind of sad and brooding most of the time.
Yeah.
So to kind of see him post all his trauma and really see him have to deal with those things, that was really great to see. Just so much insight. Like, we find out he has sisters, and you know, it's really hard for him to just talk about himself and all the guilt he's feeling about things because he remembers every kill, you know.
Yeah.
So his trauma, and then even him kind of coming out to Sam and saying, you know, I'm so mad that you gave up the shield because, you know, that means that Steve is wrong about you. And if he's wrong about you, he's wrong about me. And the fact that that's kind of all he really is giving himself to hold on to is what such a great man thought of him, because he can't see anything else good in himself. That's all he has is what Steve thought of him. And if he was even worth Steve kind of going through all of this for him. So, you know, all the guilt and pressure that he put on himself, it was really interesting and great to kind of see him have to deal with all of that. And Sam, with his, you know, history of, you know, being a counselor, being able to be the perfect person for him as well, to kind of talk him through those traumas and support him in that way. So I really liked getting all of that from Bucky, because he has been through hell. So it was really great to get to see, you know, what that meant going forward with him.
I like his new friendship with the Wakandans after his extended vacation in
He's
Wakanda.
like, oh, White Panther. Oh, no, actually it was White Wolf. I loved that.
White Panther would come across deeply insensitive. We don't like that.
Yeah.
I hear that's actually a comic being pitched by Comicsgate now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds not at all fun.
It
probably
will be terrible.
Yes. I don't like that sour face. Morgan's sour face is on after hearing that news, apparently. But there's such a positivity about where Bucky ends up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Those first few episodes, he is really, really struggling. We still see him struggle with him having been the Winter Soldier, him dealing, making amends. Then that one scene, of course, that little flashback scene, which is back in Wakanda, of him finally being free of the words, is one of the most powerful scenes in this show, because it's overcoming a mental illness at that point, which is, you know, a thing that exists in many ways, and many people go through certain types of mental illness, whatever that may be and however serious it may be. But getting over it and realizing you are free of it is such a significant moment.
Him getting that freedom is huge.
He plays it so beautifully, that particular scene. And it seems like from there on, because it's very, very action focused, and then when he's really welcomed into Sam's family, you just see him get happier and happier and happier because he finally belongs again.
Yeah, he got his first good night of sleep, not on the floor, you know, at Sam's home.
Flirting with Sam's sister, which he's not allowed to do, apparently.
I love how he's basically going to become Uncle Buck now.
Uncle Buck.
I want to see that spin-off show. I'm already planning the art in my head.
I love it.
That would actually be a good piece for you.
Yes, I'm gonna make a t-shirt. I want to. That scene where he's just holding the kids on his arm. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what my favorite scene of Bucky was in this show?
Go on.
I read The Hobbit, in 1937 when it came out.
Yes.
The OG Tolkien
What do you know about
hipster.
Gandalf? I love that.
Oh, I do. I love that. I did love that line. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Kimber. Let Bucky flirt with Sam's sister. Sam's not going to stop a blossoming relationship. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing in Captain America 4 from Bucky's standpoint. Bucky's going to be in things.
Yeah.
I think he's most reasonably going to have a somewhat of a role in Captain America 4. Do we think Bucky's going to turn up in anything else announced?
I mean, I think at this point he's so tied to like what Sam's doing. I don't see him doing like something separate.
No. Not even. Well, you don't know. There might be other things announced. That he might have something to do with secret
He could be in that
invasion.
Armor Wars thing.
All that.
Maybe.
All that. There's so many things. I think we're likely to see him on TV again.
I'm sure there's probably going to be like a what if episode focusing on Bucky.
Yes.
Possibly.
My friend Carla and me were both kind of like writing our own fan fiction about Io and Bucky.
Bucky and Io. Oh.
Yes.
I'm not saying no.
I mean,
no.
in my head, Bucky's gay, so
I think in most people's heads after,
one thing I hope that he does get, I want him to have his long hair back so I can cosplay him again.
You could,
The
but
new man now.
you could the evil version.
The evil version has long hair. Evil people, Nolan, always have long hair. When you cut it short, it means
What are you
not
trying to
evil
say?
Anymore. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Legit, when I first put on a COVID mask, I did look like the Winter Soldier.
Did that screeching sound play every time you like rolled up somewhere?
No, but for some reason, I just liked shooting mines underneath cars. It was wild. Lockdown did a lot of stuff to us.
I'm happy to take Kimber's statement here. Bucky is bi. Let's ship him with everyone.
Fair enough.
Yes, I did like the Io Bucky idea, and like she wouldn't even need a safe word. She could just do that thing to his arm, and
Stop it, Bucky. Why'd you have to be so aggressive, Io? And Io would be like, don't tell me you don't like it, Bucky.
Move or you will be moved.
Fair enough.
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to take this arm, Bucky, and I'm going to do what I want with it. That's going too far. It's going too far. It's going too far.
I'm telling you, I've been writing the fan fiction.
There's another poster shirt design for you.
Yeah.
Bucky and Io. Bucky and Io. Io
for the R-rated section of Janine's shop.
Yes.
I'll buy
just
one.
Make that distinction again. I think it's an important distinction to continue to make, Janine. Io is not Okoye.
No, she is not.
Io is move or you will be moved.
Will be moved, yes.
Okoye is I wish we had a Starbucks in Wakanda. It's true, that's what Okoye says.
Yes.
What else does Okoye say? Other things, many things.
That he froze like an antelope in headlights.
Oh yes, that's true. Of course.
For Wakanda, without question. That's one of her best lines.
Yes.
Yes. I like the Wakandans. I do.
Yes.
Well, we are going to get that Wakanda Disney Plus show. I believe it was announced like a couple months ago with Ryan Coogler doing it. I mean, I don't envy his position right now, but if we could get maybe some more of the Wakandan stuff in there and maybe have Bucky show up for an episode or two, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's quite possible. Quite definitely quite possible. I like that. I love the Dora Milaje in this show as well, by the way, while we're on.
Oh, that fight scene was so
Wakandans.
good.
It was
so good enough
Walker.
to make an insecure white man take the super soldier serum.
Oh God! Honestly, I think everyone around the world, as they were watching it live, just did this as soon as he got punched by them.
Yes, when one of them
Yes, go
steps
on.
on the shield, Cap style. Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Is there anything more satisfying than when somebody, because I think Sam does it in the last episode, doesn't he? Steps on the shield and it just flips up into the arm.
Yes.
Like it's Marty McFly's skateboard or some shit.
Yeah. Yes.
So, exactly.
Ever since he did that in that
perfect.
elevator fight, oh my gosh, yes. It's like
Right.
such a cool move.
It really is. Koi is still Kimber's favourite female character in the MCU. She is a badass.
Yes.
It's a shame she wasn't in the show.
I know.
It is a shame she wasn't in this show, but we get more of Io.
Io, yeah.
According to
More
stupid
than
people,
I.
she was in the show.
Well, that is
Yes.
true.
She was trending.
They are
because people
stupid.
thought-
Was she actually trending after that?
Yes,
actually
Okoye
trend?
was
The
trending
wildest
because
stuff get
people thought
trends.
that Io was her.
Oh,
Yeah.
get out of my face. Well,
Yes.
I hope we continue to see Bucky Barnes' happiness and
Yes.
helpful capabilities
And flirtiness.
to Sam and to the general Wakanda area going forward. That's where his heart lies, with Sam and with Wakanda.
Yes.
Moving on, we have the most fun extended cameo in the whole show, which is Nolan himself, Helmut Zemo.
Yes. The three of them together was so unexpectedly fun. I imagine
It
like
was
the
a
three of us
masterpiece.
together. Just like us.
Just like us.
I can't see through this
it was-
fucking thing.
Yeah, it was a great trio, rivaled only by the three of us.
Our fighting skills are not as good.
No, definitely not.
Our skills in anything are not as good. Not dancing, as much as Nolan might want dancing to be one of our skills. It ain't as good.
Yeah, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
It might do, Zemo. It might do.
I'm taking this thing off. It's way too hot. I can't see anything.
I didn't realise
Because
before
Zemo
this-
only wore it for like 40 seconds anyway.
He did. He barely wore the thing. I didn't realise until this show how funny Zemo could be.
Yes, because you just kind of see him as this heartbroken, vengeful man. So to see him kind of be lighthearted and funny was very unexpected, and I was really digging it.
I always loved him as the villain in Civil War. I loved Zemo in Civil War as the villain. I really, really did. He takes on a whole other level in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he's still doing kind of sinister things, and he's very much out for himself, but you're kind of really with him to the point where you kind of want to see him lead his own show in the future.
That could happen. Thunderbolts.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah,
That's what I'm
he
saying.
went to the raft where like most of those people probably are.
Every fool's at the raft. Everybody goes to the raft. It's the MCU's Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, we had two
All it needs is a mass breakout.
two Marvel show villains go there from the Netflix shows. So who knows?
Yeah, but we don't know if they even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Do you mean? We just don't know, unfortunately. It's like the raft is basically Azkaban because it's on an
It
island.
literally
as
is.
well. It's just
And it's
better
guarded
than
by its
Azkaban
own
in
Dementor in the
every
form
way.
of Thunderbolt Ross,
Yes.
whose
Because
mustache sucks your happiness away.
William Hurt would be most offended that you'd likened him to a Dementor, I think.
Red Hulk is basically a Dementor. When I look at him, I get sad.
Yeah. I think that's accurate. And Kimber's also accurate. I am the best dancer and fighter in this group. So, sorry, Zemo.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. I'm not a good fighter, nor a good dancer. Nolan has given us his dancing today. As a fighter, Nolan, how do you
Look
rank?
at the shirt I'm wearing and ask me if you think I'm a good fighter.
That would be scripted fake fighting. So
It doesn't count, apparently.
I'm a good brawler fighter, but I wouldn't say I'm a good
Brawler.
skilled fighter.
basically, Janine beats us both up.
Probably.
Yes.
And we accept it because we're not going to fight back. We've not got the energy. That's how it works.
I don't have any energy after coming back from the gym anyway.
Fair enough.
Shoulder
Fair
day
enough.
today.
Oh, well. I would... no, though, I would love to see a Zemo-led, what is it, Thunderbolts show where they all break out of the raft and kind of do their own weird, sinister thing that doesn't
Team up.
really do anything too intense, but it's just kind of a plan they have. It's not earth-shattering or world-ending or anything like that, but it's just super fun, and Zemo's being just charismatic as all hell.
Well, we'll
But
I mean,
see.
credit to Daniel Bruhl. He's a really good actor.
I love Daniel Bruhl.
And I saw an interview
He's-
with him talking about how in German films was always like the good guy. He was always like the sweet son-in-law or like the mama's boy, and like he was just known to be this very kind-hearted guy in those movies. And then he was like, Tarantino just saw this like evil side in me, and I was kind of excited about that. So like, yeah, he's like, so now in America I'm kind of known as a sinister villain type, but like he was never characterized as that in German films. So
I can see a mama's boy in Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah.
I can. He does have a very boyish face, where his smile just kind of like it's the smile of an 8-year-old. So I'd believe that. I'd believe that, but I loved him. He stole every scene he was in. He really did.
Yes.
And I love how they've separated now him and Bucky in particular on fairly mutual respecting terms. You know, it's kind of like I'm not going to, let's just close it here. We've helped each other out. We've done some bad things to each other in the past, but we've helped each other out now. Are we happy to just be on mutual terms? And yes, I think that is. I think that's fair.
And
I can see people going back to Zemo for more help should they need him as well.
Zemo's he's like a really good Bond villain. Like that's the vibe I get from him anytime he's on screen.
But I feel like oh, go ahead.
No, sorry.
I just feel like he kind of kept his word for the most part. Like he didn't cause too much trouble. He stuck to like what he wanted to do. He made it clear that like he wants an end to the super soldiers, and he stuck to his word and didn't do anything like too crazy. So even though he did kind of escape, it's not like he went somewhere where they couldn't think to find him,
Yeah.
He went
there
where
if
he
they
was
need
supposed to go. Yeah, he actually did do things to help them. So I mean, for the most part, he is a man of his word, even though he's, kind of sneaky. He still kind of didn't do anything too crazy. So I appreciate him being real and, actually being helpful and being true to his cause and not really trying to be deceptive in like his motives. His motives were pretty clear and he stuck to that.
I do tend to love characters like that anyway, especially when they are particularly charismatic as this. What I was going to say before, when Nolan was talking about Bond villains and Zemo being seeming like a Bond villain, that Daniel Bruhl would have made a much better Blofeld than Christoph Waltz.
But he still would have been an Inspector, which would have wasted his talent.
It's true. Hi, Steve. Thanks for popping in. How are you? I think we should now move on to the character Janine would never ever follow into any battle.
Who would probably...
Karli Morgenthau.
Okay.
I just, in watching the show, she was just not this charismatic figure that I would really want to follow into any kind of, cause. Like, she just didn't, and then when she died, like, I didn't feel anything.
I think killing her
really.
off was a mistake. And like what
So
me and
do I.
Morgan talked about on our episode of Fists of Fury, I liked it at the end of that movie, Bruce Lee is basically like, I will take responsibility for what I did, but I will not apologize for what I was fighting for. I think that kind of ending would have been a lot better for Karli.
Because they didn't build her up enough to make her death mean anything to us.
The only thing she really has going for her is Erin Kellyman's performance.
Yeah. Like, I thought she was great.
She's great.
I think she's great. But just in general, like, I don't think I got enough from her to really believe this many people wanting to follow her cause, because I think maybe there was this whole issue with a kind of virus storyline that got cut and they had to kind of cut around those things. So maybe we didn't get as much character development as we could have. But I think they could have taken like a whole episode just kind of focusing on her and like seeing her get displaced and seeing kind of her turmoil and what she went through to make her being so invested in this cause make more sense.
Yeah.
Like, had we gotten a whole flashback sequence with her, like, her finally getting a home and then, the people living there coming back and kicking her out and her living on the streets or something, like getting a glimpse into how great the world was after the blip for those 5 years, and then seeing what happened to people when people came back, seeing her go through that, I think would have made her character more sympathetic, more, more understandable, and it would have made more sense for why people are really believing in her and why she believes so deeply in this cause that she's willing to die for it. But because we didn't really get that much, it didn't have the impact for me that I wish it would have.
And I don't really like villain redemption stories where they end with the villain dying. It feels like a sort of easy cop-out answer to generate sympathy, as opposed for like going all out and showing them taking accountability for their actions and growing as characters, even if they are antagonists. Like when a show or a movie kills off a villain to redeem them, it always leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Rise of Skywalker.
Fair point there. What you were saying, Janine, I think is why I look at John Walker as a much better villain of this show.
He should have been the main villain. He's a much more interesting character.
So when they gave him that weird redemption,
we're going to get onto that. We're going to get onto that. For my mind, John Walker is the antagonist of this show, and it makes more sense to me, in my mind, that he is, simply because we get so much more time with him than we do with Karli. Yes, but also
you wouldn't have John Walker's general arc without Karli in the show.
No.
Yeah.
No. Kimber does bring up a good point about Karli, though, here. I think her character was a victim of the pandemic plotline getting cut out, took away all of the material that would have made her relatable.
Which I don't understand why that was cut out.
I mean, because
we're in
the
a pandemic.
race and the race stuff, I think, is so topical to now, and they went full force with it. So why wouldn't they just go with the virus stuff? Because I mean,
we know the pandemic's happening. Seeing it in a fictional TV show isn't going to make it any better or worse.
But a lot of shows and things were doing that. Like, I think a lot of shows have like plot points that dealt with things like that, and they cut them out or canceled those episodes and things like that, which I don't get, because I feel like we're all going through this. It's super relatable. The race things right now are at a boiling point, and it's super relatable to right now. And they kept all of that in, so I don't know why they felt that they needed.
I don't
Pandemic jokes are going to be like comedians' material for the next 3 years. We might as well embrace having pandemic movies and storylines in TV.
Yeah,
I don't disagree.
I mean, don't do it distastefully. Like when pandemic started, I already saw a bunch of people pitching COVID romance novels. Like, don't do that.
No, we don't need that. Ultimately, I just think I mean, Tom makes a good point there, actually. Says, I think it'd be, I'm going to put it on the screen. I think it'd be depressing because the MCU's in like 2024 and the idea of it going on for another 3 years is a lot. Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. You don't think about that, do you? Don't think about that.
But I think like
that.
the whole thing with the Mama Donya character and her dying and that meaning something to Karli, I think that played into the virus stuff because I think she probably died of the virus and she couldn't save her,
Yeah.
like that. So I think maybe a lot of that depth got cut as well.
I actually still think that stuff with Karli was quite impactful, at least for me. It just, the Flag Smashers in general were just a kind of another, their cause is fair, but they're bombing places because of it for some reason.
And it doesn't go fully into their like ideology as much as I would like it to.
No,
like, it feels almost like, oh, they're doing it, fighting a good cause. Oh wait, we have to remember that they're villains. Have them bomb a place.
Which is why I see John Walker as the main antagonist. Karli is a good character, played very well.
Yeah, a lot of vulnerability to her performance through Elliot Kellyman.
100%.
Like, even when she talks, like, the way she says things, just, it sounds like there's real pain behind it.
Yeah.
Erin Kellyman's a great actress. I hope she gets more work.
I'm sure she will.
She's great.
I'm sure she will. She's killing it, really, isn't she? I agree with you, that Nolan. I'm a little bit saddened by the fact that she was killed off, because I think the Flag Smashers, are they realistically going to be a continued presence in the MCU?
Probably not.
Maybe, but probably not.
I think her going to jail at the end would have been a better ending for her character.
And the last,
then you could have had her meet Zemo.
Got blown up by Zemo's butlers.
That's true, actually, isn't it? That is true. They've gone now, essentially, the Flag Smashers. So I actually did forget about that little part of the finale. They've actually been blown up by Zemo. Zemo doesn't want any more super soldiers, Janine.
Yeah.
Although the scene of Cap carrying her down, almost like sort of an angel thing, that's a cool shot.
It is.
I just wish she wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Like, she could have been unconscious in that scene or something.
I do agree.
Like, I like that they tried to give their relationship a little bit more development and him trying to kind of understand, again, using kind of his counselor sense to kind of understand it. Even from the start, he was saying, you know, what they want is not that far-fetched. So maybe they just want things to be better. And Sam trying to relate to her. So I like that, you know, they did try to kind of build up him and her kind of having this rapport and understanding of each other. So that got me over the hump of, you know, dealing with her character a little bit more. But had I not had any of that, I think I really would have been disappointed even more with her character.
Tom makes another good point here. She felt she needed to inspire fear to get results when she had love.
Yeah.
Tom also says she was his favorite part of Solo. She also plays a very similar character in Solo.
Yeah.
Is she going to be typecast as freedom fighters now?
Probably. Will she be happy with that? Possibly. Who knows? She can do it pretty well, to be fair to her.
If they make a Horizon Zero Dawn movie, I could see her playing Aloy. Like, she's got
I have no idea what any of those words mean.
Tom might.
And Tom definitely will. 100% Tom will. I would like to move on and talk about the real villain, the most hated character of all characters, and the worst selling Funko Pop in history, John Walker. Why the hell would anybody buy a Funko Pop of John Walker?
I would buy the US Agent one. Because I like good villains. I mean,
I think they'll be easy to produce. They're just going to take a Carl Fredricksen pop and put a Captain America helmet on him.
I can get into this. Like, you know, I know a lot about how designing antagonists goes in stories. And from the very first shot, when you frame somebody to look like they're out of place in a costume or something that you like, that is sort of a sign of showing that they're a villain. So all of that, like, you remember what Twitter was like the day that happened, and like there was pictures of fucking Wyatt Russell there, who's actually, to be fair to him, he's quite an attractive guy. He doesn't look very flattering in that photo.
No, I mean his lineage alone.
Right. By all accounts, Wyatt Russell should be appallingly attractive.
Handsome, knowing who his parents are. But yeah, that helmet is not flattering on him, and he definitely looks better with the beard.
He does.
I do feel he should have been the main antagonist, though, because he's a much more interesting character. And I'm going to say that I like John Walker not for the reason some certain YouTubers like him, where they think he's a fucking misunderstood hero.
Oh, God.
He is not a misunderstood hero. He is a very interesting and well-written antagonist. And I thought for sure, my friend Gwen had a theory about this. So when that thing happens where he kills the dude and decapitates him with a shield, first of all, hearing that guy looked up to Captain America as a kid and then his last memory of the shield coming down on him, that is horrifying. Yeah. Good job on the details there, Marvel.
It was a phenomenal scene, that.
We had a
in the worst way.
My friend Gwen had this theory that during the trial of John Walker, they were going to do the whole death of Captain America thing, where John Walker would have gotten assassinated and ironically would have been turned into a martyr the same way that Zemo hated. I think that would have been a really interesting take, but also I would have really liked it if he had stayed as the main antagonist, because after that happened, I thought for sure he was going to be the main villain. The sort of redemption thing for him didn't really feel earned for me at all. But I would have really loved, because I saw someone say this as well, could John Walker essentially be sort of a representation for how the government treats veterans who have like PTSD and everything, and they just use them as fucking heroes, but they don't let them get the help that they need? So there's a lot of layers to John Walker. I think he works very well as a villain, and we shouldn't be afraid of talking about how well he works as a character because a few fucking idiots think he's the hero.
Yeah.
No, morons think he's the hero. Hello, Delicia. Hello. Hey, you've hit the nail absolutely on the head there. Absolutely on the head. John Walker is a deeply interesting character, which is why I
will buy a US agent.
I hate this man.
I like the US agent costume.
It's just the same costume, but black.
Make him the villain of Captain America 4.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, in the comics, he was definitely a huge antagonist and always trying to make Captain America look bad. So I could see him kind of working in the shadows to try to like just do these schemy things to make himself look better. But like he descended into such a garbage person, really revealing who he was, and then to just turn around and have him over here, quoting Lincoln and trying to be all buddy with Bucky, like that just did not feel earned at all. Like I just
it did not feel earned.
Yeah, that was very frustrating after seeing, and nothing ever came of him lying to Lamar's parents. And then all of a sudden we're just supposed to believe he had this big turnaround.
Because we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus showing up for no reason to give him the US agent costume.
I will say hello to TJ in the comments.
Well, she's Madam Hydra, but like if you don't read comics, she's just Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
But I think had they made those noble decisions, because maybe like the news camera was there, and that's why he chose to make that save the van instead of going after Karli. Had they had him maybe make those decisions because people were watching him now and not out of some noble thing. And then we get the ending where she gives him the suit and they kind of have their little scheme to have him be US agent and doing his own thing in the shadows against kind of what Sam is doing. That would have felt more organic to what they were kind of building up with him. But having him just have this noble turn just didn't make sense to what they built to. I felt like it would have made more sense having him do good things only because people were watching him, or only to like showboat and show off and be like, I'm not just that moment that you saw of me killing that guy. Like, I'm really here to save the day. Like him really like thinking about going after Karli, but then he sees like a news camera watching him, and that's when he decides to save all those people. Something like that. But yeah, it just
there may be other things going on here, and certainly if you're more familiar with these characters in the comic books, you maybe be able to see that there may be more things going on here. There may be added layers going on here. Sure. To me, it just very much seemed like this show's writers and creators were way more interested in just getting Sam and Bucky right in those final couple of episodes. And then they remembered, oh God, we've still got John Walker. Let's just kind of make him help out, and that'll do. That'll do.
No.
So there may be more interesting things going on, and we may see John Walker. I think we 100% will see John Walker going forward, particularly in, of course, Captain America 4, and Wyatt Russell. Like, don't hate on Wyatt Russell just because he played a hateable character well.
Yeah,
Wyatt Russell did
a testament to him doing a great job. Yeah,
I knew Wyatt Russell before as Channing Tatum's hot friend in 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
And he gave a great performance here. I want to see more of him, but I want to see him become the bad guy. I really think he's got the chops to do it.
He has absolute full-blown, like that scene where he's just violently, brutally killing the one flag smasher. He can do that. The intensity.
Morgan, have you seen The Boys?
No, I've never been really interested in seeing that show.
Because a lot of people were comparing US Agent to Homelander, especially in that scene.
Yes.
Is Homelander the
He's the evil Superman kind of figure.
Yeah. Who does do good things when people are watching him. Because he wants to keep up this persona and showboat. That's why, like, I felt like they definitely could have done something like that. To really kind of go with what was happening with that character. Because, like, they built up him lying to Lamar's parents as another cue, you know, after he's kind of settled down and absorbed everything, and he's still kind of going out of his way to make himself look good by lying to Lamar's parents about him killing their son's killer. I really felt like that was kind of going to inform the direction he was going, but they just, I didn't care for that.
I think it's really funny how in the Sam Wilson Cap comics, when Sam Wilson became Cap, like at the beginning of it, the whole plot line revolved around hashtags, not my Captain America. And within the first 10 seconds of people seeing John Walker, we got the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
We did. He's nobody's Captain America. He wasn't even his own Captain America. I don't think people even liked him as Captain America because he kept walking around going, "Hello, world, I am Captain America." Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Not after decades of Steve Rogers. Not decades. We've not had him for that long. We had him for a little bit in the 40s and a little bit in the 2010s.
I am excited to see where they go with him, though.
Erin Kellerman in more stuff.
Yeah, she was great. I really liked her.
We have agreed with that statement. But yeah, more John Walker going forward, yes, because he's a very, very interesting character that whenever I see on screen will shake my fist and go, "Ooh, I hate John Walker." It's exactly the reaction we're supposed to have, which is the testament to a good character who can invoke such a emotional reaction.
Yes, and Twitter, you need to stop treating fictional characters like they're real people.
Yes, you do.
Stop cancelling John Walker. He's a fictional character. Get your head out of your ass.
Yes.
And stop blaming Wyatt Russell for playing a good character.
Congratulate Wyatt Russell for making you hate him so much.
Exactly. That is the right thing to do.
I mean, the same thing happened to the guy who played Joffrey.
I know, he quit acting after that.
And then he's quit acting, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't want Wyatt Russell to quit acting. He's done a good job.
Because he's not on social media, that's why.
I don't blame him.
Wyatt Russell has his mother and father going, Wyatt. Keep going. Keep going, Wyatt. Who does Jack Gleason, who played Joffrey, have? Nobody.
We should say, though, which Russell played a better MCU villain? Was it Wyatt Russell as US Agent or Kurt Russell as Ego?
A phenomenal question.
I would say Wyatt.
I think John Walker was a more interesting character, but I also really like Kurt Russell as Ego.
Kurt Russell as Ego is malevolent.
Yeah, he was kind of like, this was my plan. I was just doing what I needed to do, and I don't really care who got hurt in the process. La la la. He was pretty chill about what he had to do.
He was incredibly chill. I haven't seen Guardians 2 in ages.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I rewatched it recently. It still holds up. It's pretty good.
I'd have to rewatch it again to make my final decision on that. I do agree that John Walker is a more layered, deep, interesting character than Ego is. Ego is a very, very fun, malevolent villain. Played, I think Kurt Russell's a better actor than his son. I don't think that would be disputed, would it? Would people be so bold as to dispute that?
I know what's going to make TJ hate Wyatt Russell if they announce a remake of The Thing with him playing his dad's role.
God, no. No.
Don't do that
no
to
more
him.
Remakes
Don't
of
do
The
that
Thing.
to him. Yes, they've already done that.
We don't want any more remakes of The Thing. Please. Away with it. Away with it. We're not... I am kind of glad. I am kind of glad that Wyatt Russell hasn't had the career so far of just playing exactly the kind of characters his dad would have played 30 years ago.
Yeah, we're not going to see like Big Trouble in Little China with Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
We're not, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't be doing that. He's his own person.
Or like
He's his own person.
Tango and Cash with Wyatt Russell and Chet Hanks.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Why do you have to bring up Chet Hanks, Janine?
Because I'm sure Tom and Rita are just like, I wish we had a Kurt and Goldie's boy.
I wish we could swap children.
Right?
Well, TJ actually says
Colin
he would watch
came out all right.
a remake of The Thing with Wyatt Russell. Fair play. I misjudged you there, pal.
Oh, yeah, it is a prequel, actually, that one, isn't it? The Thing movie that I thought was a remake.
I've had it on Blu-ray for years because I got a 2-movie box set of The Thing and I still haven't watched it.
Oh, the Mary Elizabeth Winstead one?
I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but I have no desire to watch a Thing prequel.
No. Just watch The Thing. Watch The Thing from Another World and watch The Thing. Just, you don't need it. You don't need it. Tom says he likes how these shows are just setting up the Young Avengers roster.
Eli Bradley as Patriot for Captain America 4. Make it happen. I want to see it happen.
Going alongside the real versions of the kids from WandaVision.
Yes, and Ironheart. And
thank God we did not have a Ralph Boner level
Kate
twist
Bishop.
in this show.
No, we didn't, did we?
So were you guys excited for this show after WandaVision, after seeing WandaVision? Or were you kind of like, meh? I
was excited for it the minute it was announced because I love the Sam Wilson Cap comics and I love Captain America the Winter Soldier. And like, I love the idea of having the US agent sort of as a villain to Falcon becoming Cap. I wish that the show was focused more on that rather than the Flag Smashers thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
overall, I would say I think I would rewatch this show more than I would want to rewatch WandaVision purely because I hate how WandaVision ended.
Why are you miserable, Nolan?
I'm not miserable. I just don't like guys named Ralph who have dick jokes as surnames.
You're taking too much. You're taking too much interest in Evan Peters in WandaVision. He's nothing in WandaVision.
Because
Focus
I
on
feel
WandaVision.
It started out as this really great show about describing grief and all that, and it did it really well. That. And it still does that in the end, but I was afraid they were going to do this in this show. Marvel have been doing this for a while. They Whedonize certain things, and they like try and have funny jokes to undercut dramatic moments. And thank fuck they did not do that in this show. All the humor feels organic to the characters, and it doesn't feel like really bad dad jokes that you would see your grandpa doing on TikTok.
I do not remember one single joke in those very painful, powerful scenes of Wanda Maximoff grieving over Vision.
I just remember, watched an interview with
That's not in the same scene.
Evan Peters didn't even know that they made his name Ralph Boner. He just thought he was Ralph. And then when she looked at the headshot and says the line Ralph Boner, like he said, he started laughing hysterically because he had no idea that was his name. So they didn't even tell him that it was a goofy dick joke.
Wasted
I'm
opportunity.
with Kimber.
Wasted
I'm with
opportunity.
Kimber. I'm going to put Kimber's comment on the screen. Don't you
She
dare
probably
say bad word
disagrees
about
with me.
WandaVision.
I like WandaVision, but Ralph Boner is a fucking stupid twist.
It's not that serious. It doesn't have any.
I like Evan Peters as Quicksilver more than I like random kick-ass guy.
It doesn't have Team Ralph Boner. It doesn't have any impact.
Thank God there was no like
anything that
super
happens
soldier
in
who turned
WandaVision.
up saying my name is Captain Huge Ass in this show. Or P.I. Staker or anything like that.
No, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a bit of a more worldly serious show than WandaVision was. I admittedly preferred WandaVision just because it's more my kind of wacky vibe. I certainly really liked this one. I was very excited to see this.
Yeah, after the first episode, because I knew it was going to be definitely a different aesthetic to WandaVision, so I wasn't sure how to feel about it.
Kimber's new comment up.
Captain Huge Ass is actually my superhero name. There you go.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I like how Falcon and the Winter Soldier was very simple. Like I said, it was a very predictable show, but it didn't matter. That's not
just owned it.
Problem, because it did what we wanted. You know, it did what every person in the world expected it to do, and it executed it pretty damn well. From the main two characters' points of view, it executed it perfectly. Yes, there were some hit and miss points with the side characters, sure, but the main two, the title two characters, it nailed.
Yes.
Much like WandaVision did.
And definitely interesting characters who deserved more depth, and had different interesting stories to tell.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's funny because that's the exact same with WandaVision, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what we were saying.
Two kind of side characters that were very interesting, that definitely deserved more, and they got that. So I think they were definitely
give me the
right
Groot
choices.
and Rocket show anytime you want Disney Plus.
I don't want the Groot and Rocket show. Loki's the show we've got coming next.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and I am in the perfect. I've got the perfect hair length to talk about that.
You
so
have.
You get the crown with the horns on it. Also,
Tom, yes, with the big bendy horns.
Yes. Also, Tom, what the fuck? I thought I was the only one who knew your secret identity, and Candace of Captain Huge Ass.
You know what?
Coming to Captain America 4, Captain Huge Ass.
You know what's going to happen with Loki, though?
What?
Morgan's going to get confused.
Loki looks like Doctor Who meets Mission Impossible, and I am here for it.
It looks like the most confusing Doctor Who ever.
Timey-wimey show.
Time universe. Morgan gets confusedness. I will send you
Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, and you can read up on Loki, what he actually does in the Norse myths, which I feel that show will try and adapt in some way.
Possibly. But I could deal with WandaVision being like, okay, created reality there in the middle of regular Earth.
Well, look, Tom is going to do Professor Tom breakdowns for you with charts, okay?
We'll do it. We'll do it because I'm going to need it because I'm a simpleton.
We should just do a show. We should just do a show where each episode Tom comes on, Professor Tom comes on and just explains the science of the Loki show each episode for us.
You should.
I'm looking how much a Loki helmet is up on... holy shit.
Don't buy a Loki helmet.
It's only 23 quid. I could afford that.
Would be a very, very poor quality Loki helmet.
The other one's 100 quid, so I don't want to buy that.
No.
Tom says, I doubt Loki is going to give birth to a many-legged horse in the show.
I hope he does. I hope they go full-out Norse mythology.
I'd be more interested if they did do that and, stopped off with the parallel universe.
I mean,
confusing
I
us.
love Thor Ragnarok, but they did my boy Fenrir dirty.
Sure. I've not no response to that. I don't know anything, really. I don't know anything.
I will send you Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book, and then you will find out.
The only Fenrir
Before-
you know is Fenrir Greyback.
It is Fenrir Greyback, the werewolf. Evil werewolf. Evil werewolf.
Of course, I
Before-
want to see Chris Hemsworth in a dress. Who would not want to see that? I want to see him doing the movement he does in Bad Times at the El Royale, but with a dress.
Brilliant.
The little shoulder, yeah.
Before we wrap up this lovely discussion of the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, Captain America, and all what may be coming next, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about Sharon Carter.
Oh, yes. The most obvious reveal in all of
My God.
So it's like they set it up. Everyone figured that's what it was. So they just felt like they didn't need to like make the reveal anything other than, but technically she didn't actually say she was the power broker.
No, but somebody else did.
Yeah, but she never says anything.
Either Sharon Carter is a Skrull, or she's about to have the biggest heel turn in history since Batista.
Yes, Tom. It was Sharon Carter all along.
It was. It was. I like how Sharon Carter has been reinstated. The Carter name has not been dragged through the mud anymore. Peggy.
No.
Is she
Yeah,
in
arms.
arms?
I feel like, yeah, well, she's talking about we have arms and all this stuff at our disposal. So I feel like she's probably going to be the one who's selling all the stuff and doing bad things with government tech. And she's going to have to be stopped.
Aunt Peggy would be very disappointed in you, Sharon.
Yes.
Would she though?
I don't know.
Unless Sharon's not Sharon and Sharon is a Skrull. You don't know.
She probably is.
Considering how obvious it was, I wish the reveal had been better. It just felt very kind of sloppy. So.
I like how she was back though.
Yeah.
And
it's like the way she was
Carter.
helping them, I feel like she just made it more difficult for herself.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They could have made her help them in a way where it still wouldn't have affected her plans too much. But a lot of the things she did kind of made things harder for her if she, truly was the power broker. So I don't know.
It's a weird one.
It was a little sloppy.
I will take any excuse to get Justin Hammer back.
Because I think in the comics, like she was working with someone. There were two people, working together as a power broker. So and we see her on the phone talking to somebody.
Who's to say that, 12 years later, Justin Hammer won't be back in the MCU?
I know. I would love to see him come back. Everyone loved. He was.
I hope he's like really buff though.
Why?
I want to see him come out with like the tattoos, the beard, the prison workout thing. I want to see him like those guys that I see in the gym who are like, I look at them and like, did I create you in a PlayStation game when I was younger?
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. I ultimately, I have no clue what's going to happen with Sharon Carter in the future, because I'm not quite sure. Having thought about the Skrull side of things, everybody's a Skrull these days. Every low-key little character's a Skrull.
But they've set up the Skrulls as kind of good guys. So, like, how are they going to be bad in this whole secret invasion thing?
I would love if they made Uncle Ben a Skrull in this universe, and that's why he hasn't been there.
Skrulls. It's the bad. That's a horrible thing to say. It's the bad Skrulls, and then the Ben Mendelsohn Skrulls.
Okay, so maybe there are bad ones. Okay.
I think there are bad Skrulls.
Okay.
Tom has a weird theory from WandaVision.
Of course he does.
Sword is AIM. They call their minions beekeeps because of their outfits. I'm going to need more information than that. I don't know anything about AIM.
Tom, I'm going to need to talk to you again sometime about comic stuff.
Were the people that, what's his face? Aldrich Killian was doing the extremist thing. making the exploding people. That was the company.
I didn't
doing
like
that.
Sword and the weird, what was his name? General Pumpernickel.
General Dickface.
General Mike Kalinowski. Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with General Mike Kalinowski. Because he looked like him.
Yes, he definitely gave me Mike vibes.
I don't know what Sharon Carter's going to be doing, but I am actually quite glad that as a character, she's continuing to be in the universe, because she kind of just she disappeared. We know where she went now. We know what she's been doing now. But has she? Because what if the Skrulls have got her and it's all about the Skrulls? You don't know yet.
Yeah,
You
I don't know.
It's all a mystery. Well, I think that's all we realistically
need to say
have to say about Sharon.
Guess what,
Poor
Morgan?
old Sharon. What?
Morgan, my tea's gone cold.
Oh, we're not doing
I'm
that.
wondering why I got out of bed at all.
But I'm not wasting the tea, unlike you did yesterday.
Didn't waste it. It just went cold a little bit. Tom says he thinks she's more interested now than ever before, and I would agree with that. So yes, Emily Van Camp.
Yeah.
She did play a villain, I think a villainous character really well in the show Revenge, so she's got the chops to do it.
I mean, technically she was kind of the good guy because everyone just did terrible things to her, so she came back for revenge.
It's funny that there was revenge in a show called Revenge. I wouldn't have guessed.
It was a good show. I liked it.
I would not have guessed that. Anyway, any other wacky things to say about Captain America and the Winter Soldier? Are we just very, 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 very happy?
Yes.
I feel like we should honor Isaiah Bradley because the show does that. What a great character.
That's a fair point.
All the moments with him are really strong.
Carry on.
I hope you spell his name right.
Why?
I'm just glad that they were brave enough to really delve into the race issues of the show and really show some difficult moments that, people of color really have to deal with, and the struggles of that, just from, Sam just trying to get alone in the first episode to hearing what Isaiah's been through. So, as a person of color, I think it was really important for people to see that and have those things be in such a mainstream type of show, so that other people could kind of understand the depth of Sam's decisions and how people see him, and how hopefully, with this same guy doing the movie, more people seeing those issues on a grander scale. So yeah, I really liked how they dealt with things like that and weren't afraid.
I don't know why
to shy
Isaiah
away
Bradley
from them.
wasn't in my character list. I'm sorry. He really should be. I said before, he has the most powerful scenes in this whole show. That at the end, I don't know who plays Isaiah Bradley.
Lumley? What's his name? His last name's Lumley.
His crying is unbelievable.
I think he comes from like theater, I'm sure, because he's got a very theater actor kind of presence about him when he's on stage, like on screen, sorry. You can tell he's kind of using like the set design and everything to his advantage when he's acting.
His voice is just
Carl Lumley, yeah.
It's so deep with emotion. His eyes are a great performance.
Yeah,
a very, very side
TV.
character performance, of course, but outstanding.
Yeah. No, I remember I watched him on the show Alias, and then he was in a Disney Channel original movie.
That doesn't sound reasonable.
He was in The Color of Friendship, the one that actually dealt with apartheid and stuff.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. He has his history with race productions.
Yes, Carl Lumley. He was great.
Tom says, I'm pretty sure I pitched Isaiah Bradley in a fan friction fight and lost. So much hate.
Oh.
I'm surprised you remember something like that. I can't remember last week. Fair
Morgan
play.
can't remember what he had for breakfast. Although I can probably guess.
It's probably some bread type
I
item.
can't. There's no need
A
to be
Danish and a coffee.
There's no need to be offensive, is there? There's no
A
need.
scone and some toast and a muffin.
Why is
That would give you the driest mouth ever.
Why has this?
That's why he drank all his
on the
tea
show
before it got cold.
turned into
in the chat? What do we think Morgan had for
insult
breakfast
me.
this morning?
We're not doing this now. We're not
I
doing
think
this.
it was gluten-free waffles.
This is not the time.
Yeah.
This is not the time or the place for berating Morgan about his breakfast choices.
Do you still have chocolate Weetabix in your house?
I have no idea. I don't look.
Oh yeah, I mean you
into
just live there. I mean,
I don't. Right.
Morgan eats porridge like he's in the Three Little Bears.
Like
Tom did say he probably
like
had oatmeal, and we call oatmeal porridge over here in the UK.
Yeah, okay, fine. I had oatmeal porridge, yeah.
Probably
sure.
with salt, like a fucking animal.
We were supposed to be having a nice final discussion about Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah Bradley's great, but it's more fun to make fun of your breakfast choices.
Well, we won't have our discussion about Isaiah Bradley then, fine.
Well, last thing on Isaiah Bradley, great character. Hope he's in Captain America 4, and I want to see his son become Patriot.
I just love that he's now got his museum exhibit.
Yes, and just the fact that really meant so much to him, for Sam to do that, that was really
I think that museum should become like a sort of attraction at like a Disney park. I think that'd be really cool.
That's just the Smithsonian Institute. That's just a museum.
Yeah, I know, but like do the museum thing for Captain America, and you could have like cool little comic facts there as well. I think that'd be cool for a Disneyland park.
Well, yeah, they have
That
the
is
whole
a fair
Marvel.
idea.
I mean, they're doing the whole Marvel land, so that would be really cool if they had the Captain America.
I really hope that they've changed the thing on the Spider-Man ride, because I complained to the guy who worked on the ride that they got the real name of the Hobgoblin wrong. I was 13.
Brilliant. I love that. Such a you thing to do.
Yes. Well, actually.
It was exactly like that.
Please correct it.
I wasn't the cool devil may care guy that I am now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I made better breakfast choices than Morgan did.
Wow.
Breakfast choices.
Circle back.
Nobody. But
Kimber had tacos for breakfast. Oh, damn. I mean,
like
rock on. Was it a breakfast taco? And which Hobgoblin? I'm sure it was. I think they misspelled like Ed. I think they said like Ed Lee, not like Ned Leeds. They said Ed Lee was his real name.
Yeah,
and that just really annoyed me.
Ned is a villain now.
Yes,
Ned Leeds is the Hobgoblin in the comics. Well, he's one of them.
Why do you expect me to know? Why did you say that as though it's the most obvious?
I've been your friend for 4 years, and I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan in the world. I would have told you.
No tertiary Spider-Man
he
villain.
does. He does become Hobgoblin at some point.
I know what I am told.
Carnitas, taco, and queso. Fuck yeah.
Because the Ned in the movies is a combination of like two different characters.
Okay.
I would love to see Jacob Batalon as the Hobgoblin. That'd just be really fun.
Well. Do we have anything else to say about the show?
A great show. I was very excited about it. Really just loved getting to know more about these characters. Really excited to see where they go. Really, really, really happy about a Black Captain America and the representation of that and them actually dealing with what that means. Because, like Black Panther was this huge thing, particularly for Black people and Black comic book fans and Black movie fans. And, but him being Black wasn't anything that was really addressed because that's just the character, right? There was nothing really to address there with the symbolic gesture of that. But here, there is, and they have. So just would love to see them really kind of see Sam have to deal with that going forward. I mean, even in his whole speech talking about, he knows that he's still getting judgment and people have things to say about him wearing that suit. So yeah, I would love to see them really kind of harp on the significance of that going further in the show. So yeah, just great show, great themes. Loved getting to know these characters even deeper, and really excited to see where they go.
Agreed. Can't say it better than that. I can't. I think that's probably going to wrap us up for this lovely discussion on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, whatever it's actually called. It's going to get really confusing.
No, it's not. He's Captain America. It's now Captain America. Simple as that.
So it's now simply Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
And they just released the Funko Pops of Sam Wilson, Captain America.
Yes.
And I can't decide which one to buy. They all look so fucking cool.
Good. Finally, we get more actually good quality black Funko Pops, because there's so little of them. There's so few. There needs to be more.
And I am going to send Morgan a US agent Funko Pop for his birthday.
Please don't. It's already been my birthday, so you'd be too late. So the joke's on you. Get out of my face, John Walker. You horrible, horrible person. We did, however, realize that if we were to do cosplays of the characters from this show, I would have to be John Walker, because I just look like the most like John Walker.
I look like Wyatt Russell, It's just like,
which is sad.
It's a hard life for me.
Not Wyatt Russell, John Walker. I would happily cosplay as Wyatt Russell, but this is very show specific. So it has to be John Walker, which I don't want to do. So we're never doing that. Ever. Right?
Right. Yes. We would never make you do that.
I'll wrap tinfoil around my arm and cosplay the Winter Soldier.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that either. We're not doing
If this video gets to 5 likes, Morgan will cosplay as John Walker for the rest of the year on all the live streams.
Yeah, but your turtlenecks resemble Zemo more.
Thanks. Thank you. That makes me very happy. Truly it does.
I'm gonna like it on all 10 of my accounts.
You go and do,
and then you'll have to play John Walker for 2 years.
Sure, fine. Whatever you say, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. Obviously.
Hey, if you do it, I'll wrap tinfoil on my arm and do the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna get you insulted for weeks.
Mate, I get insulted every time I walk outside. I live in Scotland.
So that's a hello. That's just somebody saying hello. Anyway. Janine.
Yes.
There is other fun stuff that we have going on under the banner of It's a Wonderful Podcast, isn't there?
Yes, of course. We have our shows on the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed, Machine Mondays, on Monday, of course. Morgan Hasn't Seen every Wednesday, where I force you to watch things you haven't seen. And we have a really fun series coming up next week.
We do.
And we are closing out our time loop movies with the Happy Death Day double feature.
Morgan got confused with Happy Death Day to you.
Lots of multiverse time travel business. A little bit confusing, but enjoyed. So we're discussing that on Wednesday.
And I can't wait for him to see Freaky.
Yes. And of course, Friday, we have the main show, It's a Wonderful Podcast, where we talk classic films. So what are you two talking about?
We're talking about The One-Armed Swordsman, which is like the coolest fucking title to a movie ever.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this. It's going to be great.
No one's on his martial arts kick.
My copies of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and The Raid 1 and 2 just arrived today, and I'm so excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've never seen any of them before, and they look so fucking good.
Tom's going to start getting his Loki charts ready, which is nice.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what's going on the It's a Wonderful podcast feed. You can find that podcast feed, of course. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Castbox, everywhere else you get your podcasts. It's a fun episode of Machine Mondays today as well. Janine was joined by Abby Friel and Jacoby Bancroft to talk the recent Schmodown free-for-all and the week that was, which included Jacoby's debut match.
Yes.
It's a fun time. It's a fun time on Machine Mondays. It's always a fun time on Machine Mondays, but it was extra specially exciting today. It really was. It really was. What else? What else is happening? I think that's it, isn't it? We have this YouTube channel, of course. So if you're not subscribed here, then, go ahead and do that and leave all your nice likes and things like that, and do your notifications and all the cool stuff that people do on YouTube, because that would be nice. That would be lovely. We'd be most grateful. The links to such things as the It's a Wonderful Podcast Patreon are in the description of this video. If they're not there, they should be, and they will be in the next 5 minutes if they're not. But they're there. If you would like to, if you are feeling particularly generous and would like to support us over on the Patreon, there are our social medias right in front of you. It's really that simple on that front. I think that's going to do it. Janine. Well, Nolan's going to pretend to be Zemo again.
Okay, so let Nolan do it.
Nolan, okay, you do it. You count us
Zemo.
down
Do our
as
count.
Zemo.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining this live stream of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier plus Captain America, the Winter Soldier. If you organize your Marvel movies alphabetically, I feel very sorry for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye. This thing is so fucking hot.